Dear son, it's Nathan, and it's about time we talked about killing ourselves, don't you think? Alright, so it's not that creepy. We're actually talking about this. World Suicide Prevention Day, which happens to be today. Let's talk a little bit about my credentials for talking about suicide. Alright, so here's the story that's going to make this the most cheerful Dear Son video we ever have. Even the one in the future where I'm juggling tigers, not going to be this bright and sunny. Sad, really. So I was going to school at a college, and I was failing very, very badly. And the reason I was failing is me. And I wasn't willing to work. And so I failed. I was doing very poorly, really felt that everyone expected something of me that I couldn't deliver, and I was on this downwards going spiral. I would go up to the 12th floor of that building, and there was this beautiful picture window there. And right next to that picture window was the tool cart of the guys who were doing construction up there, who were also on lunch, but they left their tools lying around. One of those tools was a claw hammer. And every day at noon, I would stand in front of that picture window with a claw hammer in my hand, imagining breaking glass and falling away from all my problems. And then, one day, as I sat staring down at the ground beneath me, I had an epiphany, at a moment of Zen knowledge, where the entire world suddenly snapped into this clear and perfect focus that made it possible for me to understand something. I was staring down, and I was visualizing fake Nathan laying on the ground, dead. And I suddenly knew the meaning of reality is one of the only ways I can say it. I understood that I was real and that the Nathan down there was fake. And I could see everyone that I had ever met had this impression of me in their head, and every single one of them was fake. And I could see the picture in my head, and it was fake. And I understood how powerless and useless and worthless every single one of those images was, and how powerful and useful and important I was because I was real. And I was the only one of them who could ever touch the world. I was the only one who could ever do anything. And I did the most real thing there is. I took one step, and I took it away from that window. I took it away from my investment at college. I took it away from that life in that point in time. I've had hard times in my life since then, but I remember that I'm real. And whatever I expect of me, whatever anyone else expects of me, is not reality. And in every way, I am better than those illusions. And I will always be better than those illusions. I thought I would cry more through that. So this is something I feel about really strongly, and this is a video I really wanted to make. And because of that, I did actually a lot more research than I normally do. Still almost none, but a lot more than I usually do. and I learned a couple of interesting things. So we're here in Canada, and you may think this problem is remote and isolated and is just you the way that I did. So this is something I feel about really strongly, and this is a video I really wanted to make. And because of that, I did actually a lot more research than I normally do. Still almost none, but a lot more than I usually do. And I learned a couple of interesting things. So we're here in Canada, and you may think this problem is remote and isolated and is just you the way that I did. Of all the people who die in Canada, all of them, the 10th most common way for them to die is by their own hand. Feeling like there's no one they can reach out to. No one who will understand when this year 10 in every 100,000 people in Canada will commit suicide. What does that mean? Well, if you went to high school and there were 1,000 people in your high school, over the course of their lifetimes, 9 of them are going to commit suicide. We're going to talk a little bit about the gender gap. And I don't know what it is that makes this a really significant part of this. But of those 9 people you went to high school with, 7 of them are going to be men. And I'm glad that the women are more mentally stable than us. I am. We need that. But part of the lie is always that you're alone. And if you feel that way, you're not. We live in a world where 3,000 Canadians are going to die this year because they feel that there's no one who understands how they feel. There's no one that they can reach out to talk to, and they couldn't be further from the truth. Every great and wonderful person I know who I can talk to about their worst moments felt that this wasn't what they wanted at one point or another, living. They were ready to do something about it, and they didn't. I think almost all of us understand what it's like to have no hope and a belief that no one understands that. And we are all afraid to talk about it now. Even those of us who are close to that point. Write something downstairs. Let me know that you're there. And although normally at this point in the video, I would wish you a remembrance of World Suicide Prevention Day, I'm not going to. Instead, I'm going to tell you that the day after tomorrow is New Year's in Ethiopia. It's called Enkukatesh. And I wish you a happy one of those, because every day is a new beginning when you keep going.